The next Mass Effect may be closer than you think, but it's not coming from Bioware. Maybe, possibly, hang on. Technically, the next Mass Effect game actually is going to be coming from Bioware. In fact, it's already been announced. But when, or even really if that RPG ever launches, is an open question. One that we won't have answers to for a while. And honestly, we're just going to be brutally frank about it, it probably has a lot to do with the success or failure of Dragon Age Dreadwolf. So enter a group of former Bioware devs who are working hard to bring another galaxy-sundering sci-fi RPG to life, complete with unusual companions, like a talking pig.
Everything in the universe of Exodus has a terrestrial origin. However, they've evolved over tens of thousands of years, so some of them have evolved into incredibly strange, wondrous, and weird creatures that are often much weirder than the classic aliens you might see in other science fiction franchises. It also includes things such as the awakened, intelligent animals from Earth.
And holy shit, after digging a bit more into this game, a bit more of a deep dive into the game to figure out what it's all about and who's working on it and who's writing it, all of the things that are coming together, whether it has companions, all of those things, I'm really freaking excited about this game. And that's a feeling I actually did not have about Exodus when I first saw the trailer reveal at the Game Awards back in 2023. Despite a lot of star power involved in that and the really incredible visuals. This deep dive has changed my mind a little bit. But is this the next Mass Effect? Or is it just another highly anticipated sci-fi IP, brand new IP, that will kind of just fall by the wayside, like other highly anticipated new IP sci-fi RPGs that kind of did just that?
Set hundreds of years in our future, it's an epic about hope, our shared humanity, and answering our greatest mystery.
Moving on, Exodus is an upcoming space RPG in development from the new studio Archetype Entertainment, which is under Wizards of the Coast. It's being billed as a next-generation story-driven RPG that marries cinematic storytelling with deep emotional impact, featuring broad player agency and modern AAA gameplay. And they showed off a bit of Exodus at the 2023 Game Awards with none other than Matthew McConaughey, who will be voicing one of the characters in the game.
Matthew McConaughey!
And I was going to come out and I was going to say the line that has preceded me all my career, all right, all right, all right. But they told me, they said, no, 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 don't do that. Come out and say, pew, pew, pew.
Weird celebrity cameos, so I guess at least they're in the game in this case, and it was probably one of the least weird cameos in all of the Game Awards. But weird celebrity cameos aside, this game is stacked with talent from some of the games that you probably have loved over your lifetime. It was co-founded by James Olin, who has credits on legendary Bioware titles, Knights of the Old Republic, Jade Empire, and Dragon Age Origins, among others, like, Mass Effect, kind of the whole point of this. Developers on the team creating Exodus come from all over, including, yes, of course, Bioware, but also Naughty Dog and other major teams. And the approach they're taking with Exodus sounds interesting, as they make use of a mechanic called time dilation as kind of a center point of the game, which will allow you to see the impact of your choices over days, weeks, years, decades, or even centuries. Mass Effect has been heralded for the consequences in its storytelling, as well as Dragon Age Origins, of which James Olin was lead designer on. Decisions with impact are core to the identity of those games, and it sounds like that will be the way it is for Exodus as well. In Exodus, you take on the role of the Traveler. Humanity has fled a dying Earth and landed on a hostile galaxy. So yes, potentially the future that you will actually experience, well, not you, but your great-great-great-great-great-grandkids will maybe experience in our reality. It sounds like humanity in this game is on the brink of extinction in their new neighborhood, as the game implores you to save humanity. And you do that by stealing an alien weapon. Nothing can go wrong, right? course, that's something the most powerful enemy in the universe, the Celestials, don't want you to do. There's your conflict. Given that this is coming from the ashes of games like Mass Effect and Dragon Age Origins, I both hope and expect that there'll be much more to this story, that they will have layers here that make you question your morals and make difficult decisions. And this is something that they continue to reiterate throughout their info pages, that what you do is going to matter a lot, that your choices will reverberate across generations. But as a quirk, you'll get to see how that works through time dilation. As the traveler, you exist outside of time. As you travel on interstellar missions, your time and those of your loved ones will diverge. It creates a very interesting dynamic and one that I'm excited to see in practice. How will they handle it? Will it be fluid and allow for the amount of permutations that Baldur's Gate 3 did? Or will it be more static and with like set time periods? Perhaps something more like Last Epoch, which allows you to kind of jump through time, but only within a set period of like handful of periods. Given the emphasis on choice and how it matters, I don't think you'll necessarily be able to undo the tough choices you make, which makes the game all the more compelling and potentially devastating. But thankfully, as with Mass Effect and some of the best RPGs out there, you won't be alone in all that devastation and sadness, because you'll have companions with you, each with their own unique personalities and skills. This was something that was reaffirmed by James Olin in an interview with IGN. And this particular part of the interview, this small subsection that I'm going to read to you here, actually is part of the biggest thing that made me interested. Well, besides one more addition to the team. But first, talk about companions. We love RPGs and games that have companions with you. We think that's a powerful way to help tell a story, and also bring unique game mechanics into the experience. Trust us that we got a fine set of friends and allies that are going to help you on your journey throughout the experience in Exodus. We understand and respect how important companions can be to players in games of this style, because we care about them and want to build relationships with them. But for us, they're featured in literally every game pillar that we've talked about so far, from combat to exploration. Beyond the companions, the game will have third-person shooter combat, but they've also hinted at something a bit beyond that. And we actually got a glimpse of some of that science fantasy-like combat in the trailer. For fans of Mass Effect's biotics, looking at the trailer and the hints about the item called the Orion's Gauntlet, which will grow in power with you, I hope we get something kind of like that in Exodus. It sounds like they're taking a page from another fantastic RPG as well, as they mentioned in the IGN interview that they are looking at the template set forth by Larian Studios, who established their game with Divinity Original Sin, and then continued to build out the tools for that game with Divinity Original Sin 2, leading to the masterpiece that was Baldur's Gate 3. As Olin puts it, they were the best people to do Baldur's Gate 3. The team was made to make that game, and they did a great job with it. And that's kind of the trajectory they're trying to emulate. Exodus isn't their Baldur's Gate 3. It is the establishing of a brand new IP. One that is, I guess, kind of ironically, also under Wizards of the Coast. Well, specifically, their publishing banner. But I mentioned that one more person that made me kind of excited about this. Beyond the dev team that is working on making the game, the systems of the game, the choices in the game, well, that's the storytellers of the game. They have pulled in some fantastic sci-fi authors, one of whom I'm actually quite familiar with, having read some of his books, Drew Karpshin, who has a huge catalog of Mass Effect and Star Wars titles to his name, of course among other notable works of his own. He is also credited on Baldur's Gate 2, Neverwinter Nights, Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic, Jade Empire, Mass Effect, and many more, and the involvement has me all the more excited for the storytelling in this game, knowing that it's in good hands. With so much going into this game, it's not really a surprise that they're hoping they can build out from Exodus and become a successful sci-fi IP under Wizards of the Coast banner, alongside its very successful fantasy IPs. Though James Olin is clear about how difficult game making is and actually states that humility is one of the key tenets of their game company. There is no release date for Exodus yet, and it actually sounds like it is quite far away, like probably very far away. I mean, after all, they haven't even mentioned in the IGN interview, which is only in December of 2023, of whether they're going to go into early access or not. So I think we're still very early on in this, but you can sign up on their website as a founder to get email updates, and I believe you get some kind of like cloak or something in the game. But as we get more information, I will definitely be covering it on this channel, because until proven otherwise, I am very interested in this game and seeing where it goes. The interview itself from IGN is worth reading, so I've actually included that in the comment section. So if you want to go read it yourself, it's got answers on everything from, well, bear sex to, let's say, what engine they're using to make the game. It's the answers to that question are generally probably not. They will be a mature game, but probably not that mature. They don't want to be gratuitous. And Unreal Engine 5. You can check those answers out yourself. My name is Frederick Flynn. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.